Hello, my name is Ramon Olivera Ortiz, and I'll be talking about the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet Force Projection Improvement Project proposal. The U.S. Navy mission is to project their strength through the use of U.S. Navy ships outside of U.S. borders. They do this by having ships forward deployed, which is a ship being moored or ported outside of the U.S. borders. This is done throughout the world, but today we'll be mainly focusing on the Seventh Fleet, which is stationed at Japan, and it monitors or operates on the Pacific region. So the use of force projection is used as a deterrent for hostile action. It's used to project U.S. strength outside of the U.S. borders, and is used to protect allies or to protect U.S. interest in the region. So by having the U.S. military present in a region, it tries to keep it stable. The U.S. Navy uses the Seventh Fleet to monitor and to check China's and North Korea's invasion at this time. So if you have a ship that is being used as a deterrent, you need it to be available or deployment ready in the most amount of time. That requires that the ship to be ready at or up almost all the time. And anytime you put it out of commission for maintenance or repairs, that repair has to be done in the least amount of time. So we're talking about the U.S. 7th Fleet at this time. So this is a picture of the 7th Fleet. You have a squadron group which composed of the carriers, destroyers, and cruisers and support ships, and submarines too. Like I mentioned before, the 7th Fleet is stationed in Yokosuka, Japan, and it has a fleet maintenance facility available for it at Yokosuka, Japan. In the picture, you can clearly see a U.S. carrier leaving port, and you have a ship in dry dock, a couple cruisers, and patrol boats moored at the fleet maintenance facility. So the problem is, how do you maximize the 7th Fleet presence in the region? Well, either you have more ships, or you try to keep those ships out on the water as much time as possible. So having more ships will be really expensive, and it will take a long time to build and maintain those boats. So the best way is to actually have the boats out longer, but then that would also bring about wear and tear on the ships being out longer and having more failures, so more repairs, which it's a cycle. So if we want to improve the fleet presence, so we're gonna have to reduce the total number of hours needed to work for repairs and maintenance. We will also have to reduce the total failures while deployed, which means you're gonna have to have more maintenance while deployed, or better maintenance and repairs while you're in a fleet maintenance facility. And pretty much as I mentioned, you have to improve the repair and maintenance procedures that you use, so you have less time, less downtime while repairs, better maintenance that takes less time and improves the system better, so it doesn't fail while deployed, and have just better overall procedures. So the way we can do this is by having what we call critical path items. Critical path items are high important or high risk jobs that if they are not performed on a timely manner, or they cause delays, those critical path items will cause the whole availability to be delayed. So we identify those uh, repairs as the most critical, or the maintenance that will cause the most impact on our schedules. That can include procedures that have long lead times for material, like a year in advance you have to ask for materials, or high risk jobs that the specific set of circumstances have to be met for those maintenance or repairs to be performed. So you got a prerequisites that you have to meet, and that means other items have to be delayed or shifted. So we have to identify those paths, so the least amount of shuffling on the schedule it's done. So you can get the ships out on time or before you they are due to be out. Also, improving the maintenance procedures and repairs will cause the repairs to take less time. Less time on each procedure will be less time overall on the project. If you have less time on the project, you'll get the ships out sooner, and they'll have more opportunities to be out and having more time doing their job, which is force projection or deterrent. And identify maintenance that can be performed while deployed. So if we can perform procedures or maintenance that while the ship is outside, that the guys from the Navy, the same guys from the Navy can perform, then they don't have to wait till they are on the shipyards or the fleet maintenance facilities, which is less of a workload that has to be included into the work package while they're being repaired, which means less time, less work. All this, everything, it snowballs. One thing that goes into a start availability can snowball into and cause huge problems at the end. So by using this methodology, we expect to have major improvements on time to repairs and completion of work on the availabilities. Unfortunately, this projects normally could take up to 6 months into for an avail to from start to finish. So in the time we have available for this class, we won't be able to have a final product of the effects of the improvements to the scheduling and to the maintenance and procedures. But eventually, that could be measures on other availabilities later on to figure out the actual impact on the availabilities. That'll be the end of my proposal. Thank you very much.